One play changed everything. Not a clutch shot, not a game winner, not a record, a foul. A foul that got Sophie Cunningham ejected, fined, and criticized. And instead of hurting her career, that same moment launched one of the most unexpected branding stories the WNBA has seen in years. The night itself did not seem historic at first. June 17, 2025, Indiana beat Connecticut 88-77. A solid win, but not the kind of result that usually lives long in memory. But during that game, something happened that would end up mattering far more than the final score. Tension had been building all season around how physical games were getting, especially in matchups involving Indiana. Caitlin Clark had been taking contact all year. Fans had been questioning officiating for weeks, and the frustration inside Indiana's locker room had been growing quietly. That frustration finally boiled over in the third quarter. Connecticut's J.C. Sheldon poked Caitlin Clark in the eye during a shoving match. No technical, no flagrant, nothing in real time. Moments later, Marina Mabrey shoved Clark hard to the floor. Clark and Sun veteran Tina Charles were both hit with technical fouls. Sheldon's foul was eventually upgraded to a flagrant. But Mabrey, the player who had actually knocked Clark down, was not ejected at all. That was the moment Sophie Cunningham decided the response was going to come from Indiana's side. With less than a minute remaining and the outcome no longer in doubt, Cunningham caught Sheldon driving to the basket, wrapped her up hard, and pulled her straight to the ground. It sparked a full scrum between both teams, and when the whistles finally stopped, Cunningham had been given a flagrant 2 and ejected. The league reviewed the play and fined her $400. On paper, that looked like a routine punishment for a routine on-court incident. Nobody in the league office could have predicted what was about to happen next. Within 24 hours, the clip exploded. Across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, millions of people watched the same sequence: the foul, the ejection, the reaction, and Cunningham's social media numbers started climbing in real time. According to Sportico, she gained more than 500,000 new followers in a single day, a growth rate most athletes never see across an entire career. Her TikTok account alone jumped from roughly 300,000 to over 1 million within weeks. According to Sportico, the incident was estimated to add roughly $1 million in brand value to Cunningham within just 3 days, a figure that made her $400 fine look almost comically small by comparison. That is when people started realizing this story was becoming much bigger than basketball. Normally, athletes spend years trying to build a recognizable public image. They hire branding agencies, they invest in social media teams, they carefully plan interviews and partnerships, hoping that one day enough people will notice. Sophie Cunningham's path looked completely different. Instead of a marketing campaign, it started with one emotional decision in the middle of a basketball game. She wasn't trying to create a viral clip. She wasn't thinking about endorsement opportunities. She wasn't trying to become one of the most talked about players in the league. She simply reacted in a moment she believed her teammate needed someone to stand up for her. Ironically, that honesty became far more valuable than any carefully planned public relations strategy could have been. Fans respond to authenticity. And whether people agreed with the foul or not, very few questioned that Cunningham genuinely believed she was protecting someone she cared about. That emotional connection turned out to be incredibly powerful, but why did this moment resonate so strongly? The answer is simpler than the numbers suggest. Cunningham had not been chasing a highlight, she had not been padding stats, she had been defending her teammate, and in a season where millions of new fans felt the league had failed to protect its biggest star, that one act of retaliation felt to a lot of people like accountability. The internet had a name for her within days: the Enforcer, a nickname that stuck immediately and never really let go. Brands moved almost as fast as the fans did. Cunningham signed a partnership with Ring shortly after the incident. Her existing deals with Quest Nutrition and Adidas took on new visibility. She picked up a recurring analyst role on Phoenix Suns broadcasts. What made this so unusual is that this kind of attention almost never lands on a role player in her 7th professional season. Most athletes build their brand gradually: years of production, slow follower growth, carefully managed public appearances. Cunningham compressed that entire process into a single week, and the league's response only made things more interesting. Instead of going quiet, Cunningham leaned in. She posted a TikTok mocking the officiating. The league fined her $500. She launched a podcast, Show Me Something, and immediately used the platform to call out inconsistent officiating again. The league fined her $1,500. She commented on the officiating in a Wings Fever game. The league fined her a third time. By then, a clear pattern had emerged. Every fine generated headlines. Every headline generated more followers. Every new follower made the original moment look less like a controversy and more like the launch of something much bigger. That created a fascinating situation for the WNBA itself. Every disciplinary action kept Sophie Cunningham in the headlines. Every headline created another wave of discussion online, and every discussion introduced her to thousands of people who had never paid attention to her before. In many ways, the league unintentionally helped amplify her personal brand. That doesn't mean the league was wrong to enforce its rules. Professional sports need standards, but it does show how different the modern media landscape has become. Today, attention moves faster than ever. Sometimes controversy damages a reputation. Other times, it strengthens it. Cunningham's case became one of the clearest examples of how quickly public perception can change when fans feel emotionally invested in a player's story. Fans started joking about it openly and fine her again, make her richer. A running bit that captured the absurdity of the entire situation better than any formal analysis could. Then came the deal that changed everything. In November 2025, Cunningham signed with Project B, a new 5-on-5 women's basketball league planning to tour Asia and Europe. Her contract was reportedly worth $2 million, including an equity stake in the league itself, a structure typically reserved for athletes with far more traditional star power. For context, across 7 WNBA seasons, Cunningham's total base salary earnings added up to roughly $637,780. The Project B contract alone was reportedly more than 3 times that entire career total, signed in a single afternoon largely on the strength of a brand the league's own fines had helped build. 2026 brought more momentum, a contributor role with USA Network's WNBA coverage, a feature in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, 2 opportunities that rarely find their way to role players averaging under 10 points a game. By the time industry analysts started estimating her net worth, the figure reportedly landed somewhere between $2 million and $3 million, built almost entirely on endorsements, media work, and a single equity contract that traced its roots directly back to one foul in Indianapolis. So, what does this story actually say? It says that in modern sports, authenticity travels faster than almost anything else. Marketing departments spend enormous budgets trying to manufacture the kind of relatable personality Cunningham built for free by simply refusing to filter her honest reactions to what she saw on the floor. No amount of scripted content could have generated the same organic reach as one athlete genuinely defending her teammate and then genuinely refusing to apologize for saying what she thought about the officiating. The league may have hoped the fines would discourage that kind of behavior. Instead, they helped turn Cunningham into one of the most recognizable personalities in the sport, a podcast host, a broadcaster, and now an equity partner in a league built to compete with the very organization that kept trying to fine her into silence. Cunningham herself seemed to understand the dynamic better than anyone in the league office. She never treated the fines as a threat worth backing down from. And by the time the 2026 season approached, she was openly joking about the entire saga on her own podcast. New year, fresh start. We've had meetings with the refs, and I think that they have owned up for last year, truly. Wait, does that mean I get my money back? There's another reason this story matters. Younger athletes across every sport are paying attention. They are watching how personalities are built in the social media era. They are seeing that statistics alone are no longer enough to create lasting visibility. Fans want stories, they want emotion, they want authenticity. They want players who feel relatable instead of manufactured. That does not mean athletes should chase controversy, but it does show that genuine moments often connect with audiences far more than perfectly scripted public appearances ever will. Sophie Cunningham never planned for one foul to become the defining moment of her public image. Yet that is exactly what happened, and it completely changed the direction of her career. Whether you agree with her actions or not, there is no denying that one moment reshaped her career. A $400 fine became millions of dollars in brand value. One emotional decision turned a respected role player into one of the most recognizable personalities in women's basketball. The WNBA may have intended to punish the play. Instead, it accidentally created one of the strongest personal brands the league has seen in years, and that may end up being the most surprising part of the entire story.